Hello, everybody.
Sorry. Yeah.
I am based in Czech Republic, Prague. I am working here as a sync agent. I am trying to bring this profession here, actually not only to my country, but to Central Europe in general, because it's not well known. The same applies for music supervisors and music supervision. I represent many indie singer-songwriters and bands, all genres, and I'm really happy to be here tonight with you.
Perfect. Thank you. So Kevin, do you have your goals available to upload into the chat?
Yeah, I can do that.
So I'm just going to give a lowdown, Lucy. Um, we will read through, Kevin will read through his goals for this year. And then each of us will provide, either some inspiration or something to assist with his goals. So that can be in the form of, say, if there's anyone you feel that you know in your network that he can potentially connect with to assist with his goals, or even something he may have not considered when he's written out his plan that can maybe it's just like a brainstorming session, really, something to inspire or something that he needs to consider within his goals to be able to achieve them. Or if you feel like there's something in there that you're like, is that achievable within that time frame? Anything like that. So have a listen to some of the other comments and things first, and then definitely when he's reading through it, take some notes, which helps. And then we go from there. It's all very chilled. It's a very group active thing. So, all right. So let's grab these goals.
Put it in the chat.
Everyone got a copy of that? One got the copy, yeah? Okay, perfect. All right. You want to start reading through?
Yeah, sure. So,
and maybe say a little bit about yourself actually quickly first, because obviously he hasn't been on the session before.
No stress. My name is Kevin. Lise. I'm based in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. I'm a composer, sound manager, and I'm here trying to very much dive in a little more into the sync industry and build my network and really try to gain knowledge to be able to succeed in this industry and also be able to help those trying to get into it as well. So, yeah, that's me.
Okay, perfect. All right, if you want to start reading through them from the top.
Yeah, so I wrote down my goals for 2025. I try to cut it short. So one of the things is, as I mentioned, I'm a composer. So one of my things is to become aim to be a go-to composer for the Canadian networks, especially with the CanCon initiatives. I want to create a workshop for Canadian artists to get their business affairs ready and together to have knowledge to be able to as well take advantage of what's in front of them, which is the sync industry. As we all know, we need to get our metadata, our copyright, all our stuff right before we can even entertain the idea of getting a sync licensing deal or anything. So, yeah. So my third goal is to pitch and secure sync placements for 2025. I didn't put a certain number of how many placements, but I want to secure some for sure. So those are my goals for 2025 I'm working towards. And
okay, cool. Let's go through the SWOT and SMART analysis.
yeah, so so I was looking at the SWOT analysis. Basically that's to analyze what my strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities and threats are, right? So here I put for S strength that I'm a Canadian composer. with knowledge of the industry and social skills. As you know, we need to be able to network, communicate, and the fact that I'm a Canadian composer puts me at an advantage. As I said, um, I want to be able to take advantage of the CanCon initiatives um, out there for, say, tax breaks and whatnot. So I want to be able to utilize that. So I believe that's a strength for the fact that I'm a Canadian composer with this mindset. Weaknesses, uh, I believe I have, a limited amount of meaningful relationships in the music supervision space that can help push the needle in Canada. So I want to, step that up and gain some more uh, meaningful relationships that can really help me get this ball rolling to get myself in front of the right networks, so I can utilize my skills um, and help my credibility so I can therefore help the next people trying to do the same. Um, Opportunities. I am Canadian. Like I said, that goes hand in hand with the initiatives. Um, I have a good way with people. I'm able to socialize, communicate, um, and set up. So yeah, like I said, it positions me properly for the initiatives, and I believe that that'll help me get a foot into the door in regards to the networks. Threats, in my opinion, the only threat is giving up. I believe if I keep at it, I'll get to wherever I'm trying to get to. So that's the only thing, and that's for my SWOT analysis. In terms of my SMART breakdown, I know it's set for each goal. I did put it a few for a few of them, but it basically goes hand in hand. Um, so if you don't know, the SWOT analysis basically it speaks of, first S for specific, defining what I want to accomplish, measurable, outlining how I'll measure my success, achievable, trying to see realistic goals, realistic steps with the resources and time I have, relevant to see what goals align with the overall career objective for my career objective, and time bound to see if about adding deadlines to really push the focus. And anyway, so my smart analysis or smart breakdown, specific, I want to add credibility and add legitimacy to my operation by attaining credits and testimonials. So credits in regards to composing for the networks I want to compose. I want to be able to add that to my repertoire, and that will go hand in hand with the testimonies I speak of, as I want to be able to help those coming up trying to get in the industry. They'll be more inclined to listen to someone they saw um, succeed in the industry they're speaking of. So first thing first, I want to do is make sure I get myself some things under my belt, just so I can properly be able to guide them and let them know the information I have at hand. Um, Measurable. I intend to measure my success in terms of my goals by keeping an email list, by incorporating and tracking funds and testimonies by way of truly positively impacting the artist community for opportunities and education. So, like I said, I want to do a workshop and I want to be able to help those coming up. So, I believe having a list of exactly that, those coming up, I'm interested in taking their career seriously. Not so much of a hobby, but very much in a career standpoint, and helping them get opportunities, help them structure their business properly, and as well as do artist development in regards to A&Ring and helping them with their sound, using my composition skills and using my knowledge of music and et cetera, et cetera. So that will be the way I will keep an email list. So I set funds. That will be, the type of placements I'm able to get. showing success off that, as well as with the people I'd be helping, having testimonies of I helped them get this lock in this deal, or et cetera, et cetera. So that's what I mean by that. Achievable. I want to, so that's speaking of realistic steps based on my resources and time. So I want to work with those around me, hence the people that want to come up. There's a lot of artists in Canada that want to get their businesses together. So I tend to attract them down, find out who's serious and wants to get things done. And I have um, knowledge of some people that's working as students and doing um, internships and whatnot, interested in that. So I need to delegate where I can. So that will be using my resources of that information. And also, um, one of the things I have to do is make sure I keep track of the positives more than any setbacks. So that's a resource, just tracking any either minor or big victories that come my way, just to keep that momentum going. So I believe those are good steps and resources to use to keep the realistic steps I have for my goal flowing, relevant. Um, that's the R and the SMART, um, and the SMART breakdown. This all aligns with my overall career objective, as my goal is to be a connector, problem solver, and a form of inspiration for the artists and executive community within the industry. Um, Time bound for the workshop, I give myself March 1st to start doing, either one-on-one workshops or just a group workshop, whether in person or online. Quarter 1, to secure a relationship with a supervisor interested in me composing for their networks, either working on commission or however we structure that deal. And by end of Quarter 2, I intend to attain at least 4 to 5 testimonies. So having helped 4 to 5 individuals get themselves right. By end of Quarter 3, to have secured at least one placement. And Quarter 4, I hope to have a chance to assess my I used the wrong word, but yeah, so I intend to assess my progress and check some things off my list, and add to my credibility if time allows it. And I have the SMART goals too, but as I said, everything kind of works together. But I this one I simply went on with the example as I found is still aligned with exactly what I was trying to do. So building those relationships with supervisors, 10 supervisors will be perfect, whether it's Canada based, UK, US. I believe it's all important, as a lot of shows, a lot of networks do film a lot in Canada, Vancouver, et cetera, et cetera. So using that CanCon initiative will be big. So yeah, so basically that will be a thing I want to do, to connect with supervisors specializing in advertising, streaming, as well as again keeping track of the connections I make via email list, contact list, and seeing who responds and who has who I have good synergy with. Um, each achievable. I want to utilize industry events. I want to do online networking for introductions as well. I understand face-to-face one-on-ones is very important as well, just to build those relationships. So if you guys have any advice or know of any events or anything that how I can even make my own events for that case, let me know. Support growth and sync placements through direct supervision, supervisor connections. So, like I said, having those one-on-ones, and yeah, the goal is to really get these things, get these relationships in by Quarter 3. By Quarter 3, I want to at least have a placement, one of them at least, down under my belt, and yeah, basically that's just going repeating itself, but basically the areas of feedback I would like to know is if you guys have any, strategic approaches, if there's ways that I'm not thinking of right now, any advice you guys want to have in terms of, contacting, following up, different styles of doing so, and if you have any opportunities you know of or in need of, I'm all ears as well. So
Does anyone want to step in first? If not, I'm happy to start it off. Okay, so I've written some notes here. Okay, some of it is a little bit conflicting with some of the goals, and I think this is quite common with creative people, right? Because this is what I mentioned last week,
yeah.
and I do this all the time. We come up with so many different goals and so many different things that we want to do, that we want to achieve, and we need someone grounding to them, be like, okay, with the time frame and stuff that you've got, yes, on paper it's like it looks great to do that, but realistically, is it achievable? Trying to delve into many different things, because in one aspect you're like, I want to get some placements, but I also want to score. I want to score and I want to do TV shows, but I also want to do ads. So it feels a little bit like what we call in the UK like throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Mhm, mhm,
So I think it's a case of like really refining which areas, because you can't do it all.
mhm,
It would be challenging. It would, I would never say can't, because I never want to put those limitations on someone, because you may, but I think as well, just for the sense of measurable targets and being new to the sync world as well, um, is to try and focus on a specific area. So it's like, where are your strengths? Is it more, say, in, do you think, the scoring side of things, or is it more, say, um, pitching for sync?
mhm,
So I think first thing is like defining which you want to really, really target and focus on, and then rather than try and like every approach, like I said, it's really refining. Okay, I'm gonna focus on the scoring side of things, and I'm going to really try and get some projects under my belt, and I'm going to really try and build up my portfolio,
mhm,
and I'm going to do that by um so some ideas, if you want to focus on that route, because you're right, you are Canadian. That is a huge advantage because of the tax credits. They obviously higher, they like by province as well. um so I'd also be looking to that, focusing on the province that you're in, that you're based in, because that
yeah,
already narrows down like a whole ton of a competition of a saturated market. Whereas
yeah,
if you're pitching for sync, it is saturated, but like with the composers, a certain, but like I know the Canadian market quite well. Like a certain percentage for tax credits goes to composers as classed as post production. So you're already like then giving yourself a an advantage. So if I were you, don't have to take my advice, but I would probably focus on that, because you've already received feedback on that by a supervisor and saying like, hey, like this stuff's cool. I could potentially use this because it's really current. That's obviously
mhm,
strengths. You've already received feedback on that. I would
mhm,
probably be leading with that first, but I wouldn't
yeah.
be going for like, because you're new to it, right? You don't have credits in that yet, no?
No, not yet.
Okay. So you're then already competing with those that are already doing it. all
Mhm.
like as a job. So if I were you, you need to build up your portfolio and your credits. And so I would be looking to link up with filmmakers.
Mhm.
And I would be attending like film festivals. So obviously TIFF is one of the main ones in September. I go most years. That's obviously you have a whole ton of filmmakers there, and I'd be looking to see what kind of groups where there are filmmakers that need composers, and I would
Mhm.
start building up your credits that way because the first thing that a supervisor is going to want to see is your portfolio, like demos and stuff, your credits. So
Yeah.
you need to build that first and foremost if this is the route that you want to go down.
Mhm.
Because, you know, like I said, there are quite a few composers already. They do that full time. They have a ton of credits. That's what you're then competing with. So
Yeah.
you need to build that up first and foremost. That's what I would focus on. And there are a whole ton of direct like filmmakers and stuff that need composers.
100%.
So yeah, I would focus on what film festivals you got, like Banff.
Mhm.
I'm more look as well for more like indie type ones, because you know, but it's still worth building up your network being at these events, so like TIFF
100%.
and stuff, and then find out what more local ones. Get connected, get on some Facebook groups. There are quite a few on there for filmmakers in Canada. And yeah, I would focus on that.
I
And then
like that.
in terms of say the networking for artists, I would probably attend like Canadian Music Week because
Mhm.
you have a whole ton of artists there, right? And supervisors. So you get two-pronged approach there that you're looking for. There is one in Montreal. Can't remember the name of it though. Does anyone know the top of their head? I have sent someone there before as a you know to represent the company, but I can't remember what it's called.
I know there was one, something like manager.
No,
I
um, it will come to me. I'll have to look afterwards because I've got a post on my AM licensing page of it, but I can't remember. But I know a whole ton of soups. Yeah, go down for that. I'll have to grab that for you, or just go on the AM licensing page on Instagram. It's on there. And what was another one? Yeah, that was just my main thing was building up your portfolio, and you need a show reel. You
Yeah.
need a show reel, and you need credits, and you need to build that up. So that's what I would say. Anyone else wanna?
I think you're spot on. Especially with the composer reel part. It's something that I will be spotlighting next. You know, so there's a part of our business that we're trying to grow, which is the composer for hire. And that's such a critical part because we have a bunch that already have credit and we have a bunch that don't have a lot of credit. So and to help with that, I'm gonna shoot you something cool here. It's Internet Archives, and they have a lot of free footage. It's not AI AI generated, and it's real stuff from like old programming, right? And then you could use it however, right? Old animation, old like just end credit, beginning, all of that stuff. And we've used that over the years just to kind of figure out, okay, man, does that actually fit? Does that work? Does that look good? Does that feel good? So yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Can I put my 2 cents?
Of course.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, Kevin, there's alternative route that may be worth exploring. And this
Mhm.
route is collaborations.
Mhm.
right? Because when you collaborate a lot, not only you create a product, right? But also, you never know. Everyone in this collaboration cycle may have their own different resources and doors and connections and whatnot. So I'm thinking that normally by collaborating, you kind of multiplying your by the number of collaborators.
For sure, your reach as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and that, in my opinion, that could be that could like speed up. But obviously, one needs to be pretty wise in choosing those collaborations. Because in this case, it should be not only collaborations of a high quality on the musical side of things, on creative side of things, but also on the business side of things as well,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, one just needs to be pretty, I should say, not cognizant of both sides, right? Physical and business side when you pick your collaborations, and that may help a lot. Like managing collaborations, in my opinion, if one takes it seriously, is a whole process on its own, right? Because everyone in those, like those, among those people, they have their own schedules, their own priorities and whatnot. But in order to make it a process, obviously you need to have more than just one. So that then somehow it becomes much more feasible to align it on your calendar, right?
Yeah.
And that's probably that's how it works in my opinion. And then the other positive outcome of those collaborations, I think, is you growing your catalog, right? You grow your samplers. You have more stuff to put on those samplers. So that's in my opinion, that would be something to consider.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
It may speed it up significantly. It's just a wild. There's another thing that I was just thinking. There's a wild thought, but if you're not on LinkedIn, maybe you should be there. And I just recently decided, you know what, I'm just probably gonna go grab myself a premium account on LinkedIn. Why? Because there's so many opportunities that flying on LinkedIn, and I think yeah, I think one of them could be there's lots of time I see this company or that company or this group or that group is looking for composer, right? And it doesn't mean that this would be a full-time job of some sort, but rather, and most of the time it's a remote opportunity. So maybe this is something just to look at, because not only, I mean, usually in my opinion, these kind of things, these kind of opportunities, especially if you do it somewhat part-time, could maybe open some more doors for you.
I like that.
As well. Number 3, if I would try to be very focused as to what are you looking for in terms of connections with music supervisors.
Yeah.
Right. And Amelia, keep me honest here, please. But I think that majority of the music supervisors, they look for something that is ready, that's production done, everything's mixed, mastered. That's what they're looking, and most of the time they're looking for something that is last minute, right? So and I think the percentage of music supervisors who work with musicians on demand is quite small, if I'm not mistaken. I know a few who actually sometimes they kind of break the rule and they just call somebody they know and say, hey, why don't we just go ahead and write something and produce something from scratch, right? I know it happened, and probably not once, but I don't think this is the rule. I think this is more of an exception.
I would say in Canada, actually, your biggest competitor are music libraries. If you want to do TV series, they mainly use music libraries because it's cheaper, it's quicker. They're not as fussed about the quality, and this has come directly from editors that I've spoke with over the years. That's been the biggest competitor that you have in the Canadian market is the music libraries. So the big ones.
So I guess I would redirect my question to you, Amelia. The question is really how much of how tangible it is, how feasible it is to look into the business model of a composer working with music supervisors.
It does happen. Yeah. I mean, like, you know, just as we were on a podcast yesterday talking about the TV show Heartland that uses, is it Keith Power, his name is? He's been the composer on the show all the way through. I would say the more the budget of a series or a film, they will have the composer on it. But the issue that we have more and more that we're seeing is that, yeah, music libraries and just using a lot of that. But that's for Canada. That's not to say that that's the case in other territories either, because composers are still used a lot and always in film. They will use a mixture of score and, you know, full tracks, synced tracks. So, and then it becomes the battle as to whether they're going to score out a scene or use full songs in it. But a lot of the times, especially in film, there will always be a composer within. That's why I'm saying to Kevin to build up is probably easier to like build up your film credits first because there's longer lead times as well. TV, they want to see that you have experience working to those kind of deadlines that are needed. And if you don't, they're of course going to choose over someone that knows how it all works, knows how to deliver those deadlines because they just can't risk that.
Yeah.
So it's easier to break into film first as a composer than it is into TV series.
A lot of useful information here, so I appreciate that.
Purely business part here. Sorry. And those workshops, are those free?
For the workshops, so
You know, I know this is just jumping over. Only, you know, are they gonna pay you for a workshop or, you know?
so basically I'd be looking into teaming up so with some of my partners to do it. But basically it wouldn't be free workshops. But it's due to the fact that we have a course that we're offering on top of it. So very much so like the workshop is just the introduction. So if if it's via Zoom, it's gonna be like a $10 ticket, but we have a course to be offering. So
Yeah.
that's where the ones that's interested in investing into themselves will be investing in. But very much so the workshop itself will not be the lucrative. It's not what's breaking the bank for sure. No.
Yeah. I was just, you know, obviously the Ultimate Sync Access platform has an insane amount of information, an insane amount of connections that I think you can really leverage, whether directly or indirectly, you know, to, you know, just as right now we're doing. I think we all, no matter what stage we are, we're learning something from here, sitting, you know. So, you know, something to consider, you know, if you're gonna do a certain workshop. That way it frees you, right? Because from whatever business, from whichever part of the business you're gonna focus on, right, and then get that working really, really well.
I like that. And what's the name of it again? You said?
Oh, this platform right here, Ultimate
this.
Sync Access.
Okay. I was a little confused. But exactly that. But that's what's
Yeah.
that's what comes with everything I'm offering. You understand? It's letting them know of all the information available. So this is very much included into what's available to them. So so
I would put it as well just into, now that you've got like an idea, I would go away and really think about it, and really refine exactly what your goals are. And then, like I say to everyone, then put it into like a timeline. For me, I do like quarterly goals. I look at like the bigger picture. At the moment, I've been working on 6-year financial forecasts and plans. That's what I'm working on at the moment as a company. But I would say for something like this, I would look into like a year. I'd look into like a year and then break it down into like manageable quarterly goals, perhaps, and then look at, okay, what's like my monthly targets, and then how am I going to action that in like my day-to-day routine. Because otherwise what happens is, and this is an issue I have with myself ongoing, is you get stuck into day-to-day, and those plans and those visions that you have, they seem so far away. And it gets halfway through the year and you're like, what's happened to my goals and my vision? I've just been firefighting. I'm stuck in the day-to-day. I haven't even looked at that. So this is why it's important to start incorporating it and bringing it into your day-to-day.
100%. I like that. Definitely will do. Like I said, this was very instrumental in terms of helping me get my mind right in terms of where I want to go. And this is why we do these types of calls, just for the fact of it helps us. I'm sure everyone was able to learn something throughout the call, and especially for me, opening up my mind to the options that be and seeing what's the best. So
that's why we do it, right? Get motivated and inspired. All right, anyone else want to jump in?
I have a few suggestions, Kevin, or a couple of ideas, if I may.
Sure.
When you're talking about, and I often go back to this, but it's how I've met so many supervisors in connection, is Mark Fraser's Sync Summits. And you can do them online. He's canceled the in-person LA one in February and bumped it to April. So he's got an online general one in February, which I think they're going to focus a fair bit on relief for the people that ended up in the fires, but there's a lot of music supervisors in that pot. And then in April, he does an ad summit that's based out of New York advertisement agencies and stuff. So I find sit in on them, and if you're doing it for the 3 days, sit in with your camera on so they see your face, because a lot of people now recognize the old gray-haired lady with the purple stripe from just showing up all the time, and they get to. So, and the other benefit of them is the offer that he has after every summit to submit music to every supervisor. He'll provide playlists. And he provides a template of all the attendees with their contact, if they're people that have given him permission to give their contact. But if not, you can reach them through him. And it's a way to start building up your catalog of supervisors that you know the names of and begin to know you. Amelia mentioned Canadian Music Week. That's another good one. I've gone for 3 years now, and they are starting to build out. Last year, I found the sync component was a little smaller than the year before, but I've seen some of the names that are coming up this year. They've changed. It's not CMA now; it's Departure in the beginning of May.
Festival.
So definitely suggest that one. In September, I'm going to Ottawa for the Animation Festival, and that might be another really good place for you to plant yourself as a composer.
Yeah.
You know, just to connect with creators that may be looking for source music. I went a couple of years ago, and I went because of my script, but I found in the 3 days of there, I didn't meet another soul that was there for music. So people found me kind of interesting, and made some contacts there that were kind of cool and unexpected. Now, I don't know why I put supervisors on here because we're talking supervisors. The other thing I might suggest to you in terms of getting a foot up in as being seen as a composer is the Vancouver Film Festival. So if you have the freedom or the ability to travel there, they have a program that they call the AMP program. Tony Scarelli manages it with Rob. I forget his last name off the top of my head, but they started it several years ago, and you have to apply. And they set up a 3-day event within the film festival that will connect creators directly to the supervisors. And it's also, they do a lot of networking events where it's just everybody. If you're there for the AMP program or the creators program, you also can go to the networking events where all the directors and editors and movie producers are hanging out. So it's just a really good opportunity, and it's a bit of, they really focus that 3 days on things that will help you out. And I don't know if you're the Chan brothers. There's a pair of brothers in Vancouver that have just done remarkable things, and that's where they got their start. But they're a composer team that they're getting. They've done a lot of Disney, and so anyways, I won't go into, but it's a good foot up. And but you have to apply for that, and I think that is about May or June that they send the application process, and you won't find out until quite late. So you kind of got to book your time in case. You won't find out until probably early September if you're accepted, because they get thousands, but they only accept 100 people. But then you can buy a ticket later to go, but you'll miss out on some of the details, really specific. But it's still a good event, even if you don't get accepted to the app. So I think those are my main things. And and in terms of some of the things, I mean, I've been sort of melded in this. I come from a business world of always running my own business and running a large farm operation, and so I've really also kind of dedicated my last 6 years to learning more things about the business end of music. So if there's things that I can assist with, let me know.
For sure, I appreciate that. And that was the AMP program, like AMP.
AMP, yeah, it's the VIF, so it's VIFF dash capital AMP, and it's Tony Scarelli. I get an email. I first heard about it actually through Mark Fraser. He had posted on his Sync Summit. If you're do Facebook, I would definitely get on his page for opportunities that come up for learning and education and to meet supervisors. So, but yeah. And it's about the end of May, they send out the application for that. So when I get it, I will, if you don't, I will try and forward it on to you so you can go through it, and if you'd like.
Much appreciated. I would, yeah.
That conference.
And you'll be buying me coffee in September for all of this when I get to Ottawa.
That conference in Montreal is M for Montreal.
M for Montreal, that's right.
Anyone else want to jump in?
I just wanted to say that I have been at that Vancouver International Film Festival for the first time, and this past fall, and it was great. And during the networking sessions that they have at night, I met a composer that had flown over from England because they have this special composer component. It was just really interesting to talk with him and meet him. So check it out if you can.
For sure. I appreciate that, Lucy.
Nice. Which composer, by the way?
I oh, I don't remember his name now. I'm sorry. It's probably written somewhere in my notes, unless I didn't get to it fast enough to put it in my notes, because my memory is like a sieve these days.
Yeah, mine's the same. If I don't write something down straight away, it's gone forever in the wilderness. Is anyone else got anything else to add?
I didn't quite hear all of it, but did you mention the Toronto
Yeah.
festival? Oh, good.
Oh, it's like the flagships of Canada is the TIFF festival.
Yeah, but it's so large. It's so big. I felt overwhelmed at it. But I haven't been in the last 6 or 7 years. I went to it maybe 8 or 9 years ago, and I found it overwhelming in Toronto.
Oh, I love it. I didn't go last year, but I've been every year before that for quite a few years. No, I find it great. But you do need to go, like with any big conference or any conference at all, like what we discussed previously on here. You have to go prepared, because if you just go and just been like, hey, I'm just gonna see like who I like bump into, like, oh my god, that gives me anxiety. I couldn't do that. Like you have to go fully prepared, like with your meetings and schedule and stuff. And check out some really cool films, because they do have some really cool films. And there is always a lot of networking events. Like Sony puts a party on, like a lot of labels put parties on, not just like the film companies and stuff. And so many fly in for it internationally, as well. And from what, you're not too far from that, are you? Like,
not at all.
Yeah, like, yeah, of course you should be there.
100%. I will.
When is it this year?
It's always September. Only September time. Don't quote me on that one, but look.
We could see if we could all go together.
Yeah.
I don't know if Linda will, because she's Mexican now. I don't even think she's Canadian anymore.
Hey, I'm Canadian until the snow flies. Then I'm Mexicano.
I know.
What's a snowfly?
We get out of there, boy, oh boy. But I'll be there.
Snowfly. We have horse flies. But I've never had a snowfly.
The snow flies. Oh. Until it gets cold.
So TIFF is between the 4th and the 14th of September. So like with any festival, the first weekend is always the most busy. And then typically as it goes on, the numbers drop down. Sometimes, and this goes for any kind of conference, if you want to get meetings in, obviously with the major players, like it's always best like in the first weekend, because they're the ones that normally fly in and fly straight back out. But typically, like, it is always trying good to get most of the meetings in like after the first 5 days at any conference, because a lot of people will tend to have more time to see you.
Yeah.
So just a bit of advice there, what I've found in many conferences.
Could you repeat that? You said it's best to get there for the
first weekend.
Never thought of that.
Time, at a conference, always the first weekend. Yeah. Okay, cool. So I think we'll wrap it up there. Hopefully, I think you've got quite a bit from that. Some really like good nuggets from everyone. And I would probably try and work on it while you're feeling like really inspired.
Yeah.
And normally that's how it works best for me, is to jump on it. Yeah. And then, yeah, look forward to hearing updates.
For sure. I
And by
appreciate
the
it,
way,
guys.
Kevin, if I'm just thinking if you need any kind of time to spend, just share something or get some advice, just reach out offline. I'm available.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, everyone, for your time, for coming on here, and for sharing, your expertise and advice and everything. This is why I love these groups, because it's just everyone coming together and collabing and stuff, which is great. The next session we will be focusing on Othniel's goals. We don't have any sessions going on next week, so it should start right on 7 p.m. UK time. I can't figure out all the other time zones at this time. Normal time. So yeah, I shall see you then. Then thanks again. All right, bye.
Thank you. Bye.